I work on the social media team here at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. Thank you so much for joining us today on World Prematurity Awareness Day. Standing next to me is Lynette. She is one of the nurses who cares for baby Madeline in our NICU, and Madeline was born early. She was born at 24 weeks and she weighed actually just over a pound when she was born. But over the past few months, she's spent some time here getting bigger and stronger. And today we have a really amazing event. We're going to get to know Madeline's mom a little bit better. Of course, we're going to introduce you to Madeline so you get to see her. And we're going to talk with one of our neonatologists, Dr. Ewing. So if you have questions for Dr. Ewing or if you have questions for Mom, please go ahead and post them. We'd love to see them. And for everybody who is joining us on Periscope, please feel free to click the share button. We want to help spread the word about this event and show our support for baby Madeline. So with that, I'm going to leave it with Lynette, and she's going to introduce you to this amazing family.
Hi, I'm Lynette. I'm one of Madeline's primary nurses. This is Rebecca, Madeline's mom. And how is Madeline doing today?
She's doing awesome. She is just like super sleepy. Yesterday when we did Periscope, she wanted to be awake and see everybody, but she just loves to cuddle. She is 3 months old now, but she looks just like a newborn because she was born so early. But she loves all of the newborn things. She's learning to eat. For quite a long time she had a feeding tube, but now she's just like crazy about breast milk here, and keeping the nurses on their toes pretty much at all hours of the day. But she also, we've been able to get to know her so much during the last few months and engage with her, and now that's coming through even more. We have a couch in Malin's room, and sometimes we'll put out a blanket and get her out of her bassinet for a little while, and she's just so observant and looking around and engaging, making eye contact, giving us little smiles every once in a while, and it's really amazing because her original due date, her and her sister Lydia's original due date, was actually this Friday, November 20th. And through really unfortunate events, we had to come here to the NICU when they were born early. But I've also been able to bond with Madeline so much, and everybody here has been so supportive in helping me get to know her, and her love of baths and being cuddled and everything.
So can you tell us a little bit about Madeline's personality? What are some of her favorite things to do with you?
Yeah, she's so strong. I mean, it's amazing. You look at this little 5-pound person, but I can see she's so strong, and she fights so hard. She's had a couple of major setbacks during her time here at the NICU, just due to her early birth date and her low birth weight. But I mean, she's been able to fight so much, and really seeing her strength has been amazing for me, and also seeing just that she loves being a part of our family. Me and my husband Oliver have been able to spend most of our days here with her, and you can really see that she wants to bond with you too, and she wants to be held, and she wants to do everything. I think she likes reading books with us. I love reading books, so maybe I'm putting that onto her, but I'm pretty sure she'll be a reader when she grows up. So that's one of the things that we get to do a lot with her, and then even through the basic cares that the nurses help us with, taking her temperature, getting her blood pressures at different times of the day. Those are things that are part of her routine, but they're things that me and Madeline's dad Oliver can be involved in, just to get to know her so well, know every aspect of her.
And so your husband will be joining us tomorrow, actually, at 1 p.m. So for everybody on Periscope, please tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. It's the same time, and you'll get to meet Madeline's dad, Oliver. You and your husband actually started keeping a blog about your family experience during the pregnancy. What made you decide to start the blog, and how has it helped you?
Yeah, the blog has been very therapeutic. It's been a wonderful communication tool with our family and our friends, who live further away, or even those who aren't able to make it to the NICU. We had kept blogs in the past. My husband and I are actually returned Peace Corps volunteers, so we lived in Swaziland for 2 years, and we found that keeping a blog was a great way to get, like, you know, all of those little stories that you want to share out there. So we knew it would be, you know, a wonderful way for us to share photos and stories of Madeline, and especially at a time in our lives where we were so busy and so caught up in, you know, the day-to-day things of, you know, trying to help Madeline through her journey here. We didn't have time to be, you know, calling every single family member, but we all knew that they wanted to know about Madeline's story and know how they could support us the best that they could. So that was a great way to get a lot of information out there, and you know, also connect with other parents who have faced similar journeys in the NICU, you know, similar challenges with, you know, their pregnancies, and, you know, realize that you're not the only person who's gone through this, and find out how they were able to cope with different things, and, you know, hear about the wonderful things that, you know, they got to do with their own children as well. And then also, I mean, everybody loves a baby picture. So just being able to share those with people has been really great in helping us stay connected with our families and our friends, and feeling supported during some really, really tough times.
You mentioned in one of your recent blog posts that Children's Hospital of Wisconsin has a physical therapist for parents on staff, and that you look forward to the massages she gives you. How has that helped you, and were you surprised that that was available?
Yeah, her name is Ronnie. She's a wonderful woman, and when I first came down here, I had a surgery while I was still pregnant, where we were hoping to fix the twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome that my girls had. And then later I had a C-section with them. And so, you know, in the first few days of their life, I was, you know, having a really hard time physically myself. And one day my husband surprised me with a little card that he got with the massage date and time, and I went down there to get it. And I mean, she was such a warm person, and really encouraging and helping you realize you have to take care of yourself. And, you know, the more you take care of yourself, the more you can be there with your own babies who, you know, are in the NICU. But also, I mean, it was just a wonderful thing to look forward to each week. And, you know, I know so many parents here, you know, set up an appointment with her, and it's a time that, you know, you can either talk with her about your day, you can take some time to, you know, think in, you know, a wonderful environment, think about all of the things that are happening and trying to process them. So, you know, she really helped encourage me in, you know, making sure I could be there for Madeline as much as I could.
Okay. I'd encourage everybody on Periscope, if you have questions for Madeline's mom, please go ahead and post them. We had a bunch of questions yesterday, and actually have a question for Lynette, one of Madeline's nurses. We talk a lot about the care that goes into supporting babies in the NICU, but as a nurse, how are you able to support mom?
Well, there's so many things we do to support mom from birth on to discharge. Starting first when she was born very little, we teach mom how to take care of a baby at 24 weeks and do things for her, take temperatures, help change diapers, so that the parents and family can be involved at all times.
And it really is different too. I mean, thinking of changing a diaper, you think of that as like something you just kind of figure out. But with Madeline, you know, it was an entirely different skill set that, like, you don't expect to have to do things different ways, but because she was so young, you do have other things to think about.
And all the wires and tubes that are there too.
Mm-hmm.
And as a nurse, can you help our viewers understand what types of factors go into determining when a premature baby might go home from the NICU?
Well, they need to start eating on their own, either by bottle or breast, and Madeline is a wonderful breastfeeder for Rebecca. She also needs to continue to gain weight while she's doing all those things, which she has been doing pretty well now.
Good. We actually have a special guest today. I'm going to invite Dr. Ewing to come on over. And Dr. Ewing is a neonatologist here at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. And so we have a few questions that came in yesterday, actually, for some of our medical team. And so today is World Prematurity Awareness Day. And I was wondering, Dr. Ewing, if you can give our viewers a sense of how many babies are affected by premature birth. Is this a common thing?
Premature birth, if we define premature birth as delivery before 37 weeks gestation, about 1 in 10 babies are born at that before 37 weeks gestation. Now for extremely premature babies such as Madeline, it's only about 2%, a little bit less than 2%.
Okay. And have advances in medicine or technology over the years improved the outlook for premature babies?
We've made immense improvements in the ability for us to care for our patients. From anywhere from being able to maintain their temperature better with very sophisticated isolettes, to being able to breathe for them with ventilators that have microprocessors that really allow us to do the most gentle ventilation we can, to improving nutrition so that they grow, not only grow enough, but grow the right way with muscle and bone and not so much fat. And all the treatments we have for the complications of prematurity, such as eye disease and other issues.
And you just talked about some of the complications. So for a family who has a premature baby, and maybe a baby that's kind of really premature, what are some of the most common complications that a family might see?
I think when you think of babies who are born premature, every single organ is immature. And if we start from head to toe, the brain is immature, particularly the blood vessels. So those blood vessels can leak blood or not provide enough blood to areas of the brain. The lungs are immature and they often need to go on breathing machines, particularly if they're extremely premature, like Madeline. Their hearts can be immature and certain openings don't close as appropriately. Their intestines are premature and they're susceptible to infections and other problems. Even their skin's immature, particularly in the first week or two of life, where they lose a lot of fluids and they're susceptible to a lot of trauma on their skin.
Now, a lot of folks have an image of a premature baby like Madeline in a device called a Giraffe Incubator. And we actually have one out in the hall. Would you mind explaining what a Giraffe Incubator is and show us what it is?
Sure, let's go out and see. So this is a Giraffe Incubator, and this is for babies who are born extremely premature. This is where they will spend the first month or two of life. The nice thing about these incubators is that it maintains their temperature, so it actually takes their temperature continuously, and if they get cold, it warms up. If they get too warm, it cools down. It actually provides constant humidity. We are able to have access to the babies as needed, either through the porthole, or we can open the side or have the top go up.
Great. Let's go back and join Madeline and Mom.
We had a question about if we keep in contact with the program.
And Dr. Ewing or maybe Lynette, how do we as a hospital provide resources for our families, or how do we keep in contact with families that have gone through this NICU experience? I guess they'd be NICU graduates.
We have a NICU follow-up program, and our developmental clinic sees patients 4 months after discharge. Of course, for all the subspecialty care that patients such as Madeline would need with the pulmonary doctors, they come in and see them. And then the best days of the best part of my day is when we see former NICU grads come back for a visit, and they're running around in the NICU and they're starting to talk to us. It's the best time.
Great. Mom, I have a question for you. When you look down at your beautiful daughter, what types of hopes and dreams do you have for her?
I mean, so many. When my husband and I, we were getting ready to have children, and we were so surprised to be having twins, and we felt so lucky. And I was just thinking of, all of the things that I want for her, and I wish that her sister would be able to experience. Things like travel, things like a love of learning and reading, the ability to, have great compassion for others, and perspective on, seeing other people's stories. And I think that, being here has taught me a lot about, the things that I want for my own family, and the perspective that I have on, finding, good things even when things are very difficult. But a lot of people are excited for Madeline to get into horseback riding like I was into when I was younger. And, she has great cousins already, and great aunts and uncles, and I'm excited for her to be a part of our big family. and just everything. I mean, there's so many good things, and I want her to experience all of them. And I also want her to be able to understand when she's older what she went through here and what happened with her sister Lydia, who passed away on her 5th day of life, and be able to mourn those things, but also take them in stride and be a strong woman.
Dr. Ewing, we had a question come through Periscope. How do families end up at the NICU at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin? So if you had a baby maybe in northern Wisconsin or across the Midwest, what types of scenarios might play out that you end up at our NICU versus maybe a different NICU?
So there's multiple ways they can end up in our NICU. So one way is we are connected to Freidert's Birth Center, and actually about 50% of our babies are born at Freidert's Birth Center, which is right within Children's Hospital itself. Some of those patients are referred from all over the state because there's a fetal abnormality or some complication that would be best delivered here. About 50% of our patients are transported in. We have a specialized transport team that can go to any place in the state or outside the state and care for babies and then bring them back so that we can provide the best care possible.
Can you speak to our NICU, and is there something different or unique about our NICU that maybe other NICUs don't do or don't have?
We are the largest level 4 NICU in the state. There's only 2 level 4 NICUs in the state, and we are the only level 4 NICU in the state connected with the birth center, so that we can make sure that babies and parents are always together, even immediately after birth.
And that was part of our story too. Dr. Ewing actually came up when we were in labor and delivery, and we were there for 2 weeks, trying to get everything settled so that they wouldn't be born so early. And we talked a lot about, what challenges they might face being born so early, what they might look like, what sorts of things we could do to try and get them the best outcome possible. Things like starting steroids for lung development, monitoring their weight gain, and having as clear as a picture as early as possible, right?
Mm-hmm. And we always find that the more the parents know, the more involved they can be, and the better that everyone does, because we really view parents as part of the team.
Great. Do we have any other questions that came through?
People want to know when she's going to be able to go home.
So do you have a sense of when Madeline is going to be able to go home?
Yeah, it's funny because everyone around here tries to avoid saying the date, like just in case, like it's kind of superstitious. Or we had one doctor, even say it in like a different language so that Madeline couldn't, switch things up for us. But we're hoping for Thursday, maybe Friday. We've done a lot of the preparations, getting educated on how to do some of the things that Madeline will need at home that's different than maybe full-term babies. We do like a car seat test where we bring the car seat in and make sure Madeline's lungs will be strong enough to make the journey sitting up. One of her main challenges has been her breathing. And then fun things too, like saying goodbye to everybody, and just having some last conversations. And we are definitely looking forward to being home, and we will probably keep in touch with everybody too. It's a big story.
So since today is World Prematurity Awareness Day, I was wondering if you had any words of encouragement for other mothers that may be just starting their NICU stay with a premature baby.
Yeah, I think that you never expect something like this to happen to you. Even when we started getting signs of twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, it's your hope that you will never have to, deliver so early, and you just wish so much that your child won't have to face these things, and that you would take them on yourself if you could. But sometimes very unfortunate things happen, and it's important to keep perspective that there are a lot of great things that can be done to help your child, and a lot of great things that you can do to help yourself too. You are essentially maybe losing the last few months of your pregnancy. It's important to mourn, losing that time that you were, looking forward to, being so big and having baby showers and everybody being so excited for you. You might spend part of that time in the hospital and then in the NICU. And, your vision of how you want your family life to start is not going to be what you really dreamed it would be. So it takes some adjustments, and it takes some time to be able to find the good ways to connect with your child. And from my experience with Madeline and her sister Lydia, it's been really difficult because you almost have to split yourself into two pieces. I've experienced the loss of a child, and I've experienced a wonderful success story that I'm so happy about. And so I've felt both ends of the story, and it's so challenging. But there's so many ways that people want to help you, and there's so many ways that you can get connected. And, out of any point in history, this is, the best time to, be getting help for these things. Like Dr. Ewing was talking about, they can do some amazing things today. So it's so important to, always be thinking positively and looking forward, and, making plans for your child and being the best parent that you can be. And I think too, for people who maybe know a parent of a preemie, or somebody from your family, somebody at work too, you can do so much to help them. Things like asking, how the doctors and nurses are, what part of, what role the parent can play in the care of the child. It's unfortunate because you don't get to, really ask the same things about length and weight. Sometimes those are sad things to talk about. But there's so many different ways that you can support that person and, help them feel like their experience is just as valid as anybody else with a full-term child.
I know there are so many people out there wishing you support. Is there anything you want to say to everybody